a project CRM activity tracking enhancement published by Information Regression IIG. So in this enhancement, we give you the ability to create templates. And for each created template, we allow you to enter the tasks, that CRM tasks that need to be performed for each one of these groupings. You have the ability for each template, create a tree structure as many level deeps as you like. And when you save the template, then you're able to enter a project and a task and create CRM tasks based on this template that you've created. Notice that we have the ability to enter hours to complete each one of these tasks and a duration. And the system will go through and add them up. It will come up with what are the hours for each one of these tree structure levels. And of course, for each CRM task, we also allow you to put in the phases that you need to complete. So if you wanted to have for site survey or the rebar replacement or pouring of the concrete to have securing and so forth, you can have different stages of that task's work to be defined, and hours are tracked and entered for each one. So once we create the templates, then you basically create a implementation project for each one of the projects and the tasks that you have using that template ID enter. So all the tasks would load into this created project. And of course, you have the ability to modify the hours. If for any reason you need to change the duration for a line or the number of hours, you could go ahead and do that. And of course, when everything is said and done, then you can create your CRM tasks and activities for the work, so hours reported could be tracked. So you have the ability to put in a project or a scenario and see all the CRM tasks. It would show you the activity start date, end date, what's to date, how many hours. So we store this information. The colors are linked to the status, whether they're overdue, whether it's past due, where you have started or not started. Then, of course, in Acumatica, wherever CRM tasks are maintained, you have the ability to change the due date, change the number of hours to complete, and we'll go ahead and update the created implementation project and keep track of changes to the due date, changes to the hours. So here we're seeing that if you click on any one of these tasks, you have the ability to modify the ending date, and of course, information gets rolled up to the project. And we will track, we have different screens to show the tasks that are 30 days past due or 90 days past due, or the tasks that are over budget. If you had planned 8 hours or 6 hours for a task that is taking 12, 14 hours, you'll be able to have visibility over that. Then, of course, by employee, we let you enter how you report time in our added clock in and clock out program for each one of these tasks. So for each employee, so in this case, this employee, Michael, can report hours on sales orders or warehouse operation or service orders. And what happens is in this screen, clock in and clock out, you have the ability as you clock in, select the CRM task, and the CRM task could be linked to a sales order or a manufacturing transaction or just a project. And of course, all the information entered gets again rolled up to the project schedule that we created using the template and would be tracked there. Of course, as you're doing time entry, all of those are tracked by your manufacturing transaction, the purchase order. We'll show you all the activities for each one of those tasks, all the reported hours by day. We have dashboards that would show you for each one of those grouping of the tasks, what's the status, if there's been any hours reported or not, or what percent of the hours are entered, and what are the past due tasks if you put in a project ID. And now let's look at some of the actual screens. So here we're looking at that implementation template. Again, this is the implementation template that has these groupings for each one of the grouping for each one of these items. You have the ability to enter hours, and of course we'll basically keep this as planned and as actual hours are reported for each one of these items, for each one of these CRM tasks created for each one of these items will track the actual versus planned hours. Of course, everything gets rolled up, and you'll see by grouping of tasks what are the hours for each one of the steps in the completion of that tasks. So the next thing I want to see is that we created a project using that template for this customer, this project, and this task in Acumatica. Of course, you have the ability to update the duration, to change hours. If it's a rebar setting or roof setting is going to take longer, or because of rain, the duration is going to be longer. So this basically gets created. You create the CRM task and the schedule the tasks, and you start accepting hours on this. And of course, as I mentioned, we have the clock in and clock out. So by employee, each employee decides, when the logs in, employee number can get auto-loaded, or depending on whether it's a shared device, employee ID could be inputted. You have a clock in and clock out. This clocking is like a toggle. Once you clock in, then you clock out. You select the task that you're working on, and you can filter by project or by sales order, and it will only show the tasks that belong there, and you can enter the hours. Of course, based on the settings, you have additional fields that you can enter into the system. So anywhere in Acumatica where you can have access to tasks, whether it's employee time cards or daily field report entry, you have the ability to click on the task and change the due date and the number of hours, and we will take that information and take it back to the implementation template and update it for you. So when you're looking at a project detail dashboard, which shows you the project setup, construction, demolition. So these are all the steps that are defined here. So it's basically showing you for each one of those steps whether hours are reported or not, you're over, you're under, and then basically task durations by percentage past due and so forth. Of course, again, you have the ability to see by project or by employee what tasks they're assigned to you, and click on the link and change the due date, mark it completed, report hours, so different due dates. So very easy way to create project implementation that have access to some dashboards and track changes to the due date or the number of hours and get reports on variances. Hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us.